Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Sulk stream. I am your host, the Incredible Sulk, and I hope you guys are doing well. Fantastically well. Or somewhat okay. It doesn't matter. Welcome to the Sulk stream. This is a Friday night show. We are going to be doing the 3 hours. The 3 hours plus 15 minutes, I think it is. So, it's done for the long haul, but at the very end, the last hour and 15 is only for premium subscribers. So, if you are poor, I'm sorry. But you're gonna get booted. But I hope you're not. I hope you're a subscriber, or you have premium, or something like that. And I hope you guys stick with me to the end. Anyways, tonight we're doing bath salts. The cannibalistic drug that they sell at Bed Bath & Beyond. I would assume, right? Isn't that why people go there? Because every time I go there, I'm thinking of Bath & Body Works. I can't walk in there. I just can't. It smells. It's just too much for me. It's just too much. And the colors are pink and white and stuff like that. And I'm coming there and I'm wearing black and I'm very brooding. And I look like this. This is how I look at people. Where is your cinnamon candles? And they get really freaked out. They feel very uncomfortable. Especially if I go to Victoria's Secret first. Because then I'm just wearing weird stuff. And it's a big thing, you know. There's a reason I don't go to malls. There's a reason I don't go to malls anymore. I hope you guys are doing good. I hope you guys are making me proud. Not smoking bath salts. Not. Because apparently it's pretty bad for you. But what do I know? I'm not a doctor. I should have been a doctor. But I would just tase people, probably. I probably tase people way too much. And so yeah, that's what tonight's episode is about. And I'm gonna pull 3 hours out of it. And I have this box of Tito's. It is unopened. And I'm probably going to, if you want to buy me a shot, then I will open it and I will drink that shot. How much? I don't know, $10? $10? But here's the thing I'm worried about, because I don't want one of you psychopaths being like, here's $100, drink the whole rack, because then I would have to. And then that would, there's 12 of them. So it'd be 10 drinks, but I might do after the third one. I might have to bump it to 20, and we'll see how I feel. You know, I don't want to stick to anything absolute, because decisions get hard to make at that point. You know, after the third or fourth Tito's Mini, any plans you had laid out are just gone. They're gone. Anyways, I hope you're good. Again, it's a Friday show. We're doing bath salts. Yeah, I think I covered all the main points. Oh, and yes, I'm also selling, if you want to buy me a drink, that's what I'm going to sell it as. Anyways, get comfy. Get cozy. Get your bottle, your minis out. Get your minis out. And drink with me. Have a drink with me. Why not? We'll see how it goes. If you're working, keep working. If you are driving, please keep driving, and don't drink while you're driving. That's irresponsible. Fun, but irresponsible. I do not condone it, but it is fun. So, I'm not lying to you, okay? Anyways, I'm the Incredible Sulk. This is the Sulk stream, and this is called The Wacky World of Bath Salts Crimes. So you know it's going to be a good time. You know it's going to be a fun time. So buckle up. Let's go. Let's do this. Come on. Why are you guys waiting around? Let's go. Come on. Everyone in.
In the early 2010s, people all over the US and Europe were able to casually walk into any given convenience store and
Obedience says nipples.
Just illicit substances. Hard ones, to say the least.
Obedience says I'm ready, but I'm just going to smoke. No, it's fine. You do you. Again, you can buy me one of these, and otherwise, they'll just sit right there.
This led to nothing short of international pandemonium,
Yeah,
some wondering
whatever.
if it was the beginning of the
I'll hang out with you guys.
apocalypse. Bath salts, or known over in Europe as monkey dust, are
Monkey dust. That's cool.
what they have come to call designer drugs. They were called as such because, in order to hide their true nature as a hardcore drug, the designers would often brand the goods as either bath salts, cleaning powder, plant food, potpourri, or all manner of different products. Given their appearance of white, powder-like little granules, one might find those labels believable. They would then slap
I mean, I thought it was like bath salts. I thought you could actually use it in their bathtub. And like people just found out that they could smoke it, and then they would just go wild and like eat each other. And then they kept doing it because it was so good. Like that has to be a good drug. If you like wake up the next day like you were like a werewolf and you're covered in blood, and then your friend has no face, and then you watch the camera and you ate his face, and then you go back to it. That's a fire drug. That's good drugs right there. You don't get better drugs than that.
a sticker on that would read,
You don't get good murder drugs anymore. Right? That was like very much in the 70s and the 80s. I think the homosexual crowd has very good murder drugs. It would make sense.
not for human consumption, in order to create a little bit of plausible deniability, and hopefully avoid any sort of prosecution
Oneus
while
on the
dealing
John.
drugs in gas stations, convenience stores, and over the internet. These products first came to be in around
Oh my god. Is your name Helen? You seem like a Helen. You seem like a guy version of a lady named Helen. Maybe some sort of librarian. Like, not necessarily a bitch, but not very pleasant. Kind of a dry hang. You know? What do you have to say, Helen?
the year 2009, but it wasn't until 2010, 2011 that they really exploded in popularity, usage, and memes. Calls started pouring into US and
I mean, there's a reason everyone's eating faces, okay? I don't know if, like, that's, like, a latent kind of desire in a lot of people who did that, and, like, the bath salts just brought that out. Or like it forces you to sin, like a lot of drugs do. The devil did it.
European poison control centers as people went to their local convenience stores and
The
gas
devil.
stations to pick up their products and give them a try. After all, if they're legally, openly sold in shops, I mean, how dangerous could they be? I mean, they were easier to buy than a simple can of beer. Well, the answer to that question is very.
Obedience says insert effeminate British name. Terry? You think you could be a Terry?
In
Maybe,
2010,
maybe.
the number of calls to U.S. poison control centers involving bath salts was around 300. In 2011, however, that number ballooned into an astounding 6,000.
He kind of looks like a Nigel. A little, kind of Nigel-y. But when I think of Nigel, I think of Nigel Thornberry. And don't besmirch the name of Nigel Thornberry with this homo. Because Nigel fucked. Nigel fucked. Just saying. Just saying. And he had a prominent profile, which I also respect.
If one were to ingest the designer drugs, they would face all manner of concerning symptoms. Headaches, nausea, chills, heart palpitations.
Being a lot cooler. Being a lot cooler since you did. Peer pressure works. There's a reason why people use peer pressure. It's because it has worked every single time since the beginning of time. Every single time. Peer pressure is 100% effective all the time. Show me a study that says peer pressure is not effective. They actually did a study called, I think it was called the Stanford Prison Experiment, where they, just through peer pressure, made these people electrocute, well, to their knowledge, electrocute people on the other side of a wall. It's a pretty famous experiment. I think we actually covered it before. But yeah, if somebody tells you to do something, and there's some sort of like, if you seem like you're a figure of power, or in the know somehow, or if you just want to be cool, you'll do some pretty terrible things. I mean, I know I would. I absolutely would. If it meant I was accepted into the tribe, then yeah, I would do some things I probably wouldn't talk about for the rest of my life. you know, I yearn to be accepted. It's deep inside of me.
Paranoia,
I
and
yearn for it.
anxiety/panic attacks. If one who were already susceptible to psychotic conditions were to ingest, smoke, snort, inject, or otherwise administer the dangerous substance, it would tend to send their pre-existing...
That one's firing right now. I put a different tip on it. If you want to hit that. That one's firing. Again, if you want to buy me a drink, $10 and I will do one of these tiny bottles.
I like that.
$10 and I will do a tiny bottle with you.
The party's tomorrow. So.
The party's tonight, bitch. Yeah.
disorders into overdrive. It wasn't unusual for people to experience hallucinations.
On the John says the taser yearns to be used. It sure does.
Delusions, and
does.
erratic behavior. And that's putting it lightly.
Obedience Yeah says I prefer wharf pressure. Not dock pressure. Jetty pressure. Shut up, Obedient.
First incident to really bring bath salts into the forefront of the public conscience was an incident known as the Miami Cannibal Attack, or more casually, the bath salts zombie.
Sweet.
This was when, on May 26th
Es bueno? Is good.
of 2012, a man named Rudy Eugene attacked a
Sorry, I
homeless
didn't mean to speak Spanish there. I probably confused a lot of you there.
man on the MacArthur Causeway in
I'm not a Mexican. I'm not Hispanic.
Miami, Florida. The entire incident, which was caught on tape, became broadcast on news channels not only throughout the
What?
Thank God.
Thank God.
U.S., but internationally as well.
Come on, we eat
The attack
burritos like every
started
day,
when
though.
Rudy accused the homeless man, Ronald Popo, of stealing his Bible. He then beat him until he lost consciousness, tore off his
On the John says, now I'm imagining John talking to a taser like Osborn to the Goblin Mask in Spider-Man. So, like, it's like Knight Rider, only I talk to my taser. Yeah. I don't know what the taser would have to say. I think it would just be, like, really ready to go all the time. And like, any situation I would be in. Like, talking to people on the street. It'd just be like, have you seen this guy? Taser. Tase that girl. She's lying. Calm down, Tazy.
pants
Calm
and
down,
shockingly
Tazy.
began to bite
Right?
down on his face. Rudy began to eat away at the
Somebody
unconscious
buy me a
man's
fucking
face,
drink
ultimately
already.
biting off most of his face above the beard
Jesus.
line, including eating his entire left eyeball.
You guys are terrible.
The whole attack left Ronald completely blind, but surprisingly alive. The savage assault didn't end until the Miami
Holy shit. What was that guy looking? He looked, that guy didn't look good.
bite down on his face. Rudy began to eat away at the unconscious man's face,
Oh shit.
ultimately biting off most of his face above the beard line, including eating his entire left eyeball.
It's crazy. That's crazy.
The whole attack left Ronald completely blind, but surprisingly alive.
And he had a good spirit about him. Right? He had a good spirit about him. I don't know why anybody was, like, allowed to take this picture. And it doesn't look like he has any eyes left. He's got no eyes left. But he's got his guitar. That's all he needs is his guitar. Who needs eyes when you got ears for hearing? You don't need eyes no more. But holy shit, you do need a nose. That thing is ghoulish. Like, that's seriously bad.
The savage assault didn't end until the Miami PD arrived and shot Rudy on the spot. Police initially believed that bath salts were involved, given the pure psychopathy of the carnage they had seen.
Yep, bath salts. This is bath salts. Bath salts. I mean, yeah, that's what I would think too. Or it's just somebody going fucking nanners.
They couldn't believe that any average sort of psychosis could have led to such a brutal...
Is that Tony from Hack the Movies? Is that Tony? Tony, is this you? I know we do this to Frozen, but come on, Tony. Is this you? You eat people's faces?
scene without some sort of intoxicant being involved. But toxicology tests came to show no drugs in Rudy's system aside from cannabis. This is where a bit of...
Oh. See, they don't tell you this part. No. They just say crazed man or hooligan or thug eats people's faces. Or you know, a park goer or something like that. Not... You gonna make me say it?
Controversy
Don't make me say it.
began. Some would claim that this
Jumanji person.
was a sign that bath salts weren't involved at
What?
all, while others would
What?
claim that the standard testing...
I haven't even started drinking yet. You want to hear some, like, legit racism? Then, come on. Come on. I'm
would have
dying
revealed
here.
the chemicals in bath salts
It's so
in the first
dry.
place. Regardless, this became the most well-known bath salts-related crime and brought the designer drugs into the spotlight. Whether or not this case really involved the substance, many others have been proven to.
On the John says, to be honest, he might be too much for people to see in a horror movie. Yeah, that guy, he didn't ask for that. But you know what? Afterwards, he was like, yeah, take a picture of me with my guitar. Why? For who? You have no eyes. Why would you want you to hang it in your house? Yeah. Oh yeah, this is right after I lost my eyes. And you're just like pointing at a part of the wall. Because you're fucking blind, brah. You're blind. Just say. And you know what? Every time I came to your house, I would put your guitar out of tune. I just fucking mess with the keys. Right? Just like boop, 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 boop. And you'd be like, how does this keep happening? And I'd live at your house. No, I wouldn't, dude. You would freak me out. Imagine that face like half in the shadows in the middle of the night. Cat.
One of the most interesting cases of a bath salts-related crime involved the arrest of a 35-year-old woman named Tracy Mabb. At 5 p.m.
That is a quality. That is a quality mugshot. If I've ever seen a mugshot before in my life, that is a quality 100% mugshot. How did they let you get away with that? They didn't say, hey, can you redo it? Were you just constantly doing it like this? Just screaming at the top of your lungs? As much as you possibly could? And then they're like, this is good enough. She looks like a fucking crybaby. Yeah, meth.
On a Tuesday afternoon, Tracy walked out into the middle of a highway and...
On to John says, how much were shots? $10. $10 here, like $10 a piece. Hold on. It's like a grenade. Comes in a little cassette. Look at that. $10, and I will drink a whole one of these. I think it's more than a shot. They're 50 milliliters. I think a normal shot's like 35. So, $10. And I'll do one. And then that's how I'm going to justify doing it. It's not really about the money. It's just, you know.
Pompano Beach, Florida, and pulled up her shirt to show her bare chest.
How can I trick myself into having a drink tonight? That's what I'm doing.
Stop there, pulling off her pants as well and showing passersby the full set of goods, front and back, as she spun around in an
And I got
intoxicating...
12 of them, right? I got 12 of them. So, like, if I were to do each one of these shots, that's $120. Right? Obedient. Okay. All right. Obedient is the first guy to do it. All right. Thank you, Obedient. You've been one of the best supporters, man. So, since the beginning, Obedient has been out in these fucking streets just, dude, seriously, since I started doing this. It's been like 2 years now. Do you realize that, Obedient? So, now we're doing the first Tito's. Wonderful. You hear that? That was the seal breaking. It's a good year. This year, I assume. And I have my skull. It's my skull drinking glass. So, let's see if I can make it line up with my actual face. Let's see if it has the ears on it. Hold on. Not wasting. There we go. Hold on. This is hard. All right. That's pretty good. All right. It's like I'm pouring it into my own face. There we go. No trickery afoot. No switching the bottles. Nothing like that. I wouldn't do that to you guys. Of course not. So, Obedient 1. I should have a shelf. Or like different buckets. Like the Obedient bucket, Whoever else wants to donate, they'll get a bucket, and whoever has the most shots at the end of the night can feel bad about how I feel tomorrow. So, cheers. Cheers to Obedient. Thank you. That wasn't bad. That was fine. That was fine.
Stupor. Motorists were rubbernecking as the naked woman posed.
Okay, now let me just look at my watch. Okay. I still don't have a watch.
And danced throughout the street, leading to danger in more ways than one.
I only have 3 hours left.
When police officers arrived, she
John and the Crystal Skull. Hi, Aeneas. By the way, Aeneas, if you haven't heard, buying me a drink, $10 and I'll drink one of these things. I have 11 left. So
to stop posing her nude body.
You could ruin it for everyone though, and give me $100.
Middle of the speedway, telling the officers, quote, "I don't give a fuck," when they told her that what she was.
That's always good when the cops are questioning you and you're like, "I don't give a fuck." That means you're not going to jail. That means you're a legal genius and you're going to be let go immediately. And you're really good at handling people. You're probably rich and have no other problems in your life whatsoever.
Doing was illegal. The police threw.
Okay, on the John says, check your Ko-Fi, which I will do. And on the John says, drink up. Another tenner. Another tenner. Okay. Oh. See? Now, okay. Those were a little close together. I'm not going to lie. Those were a little close together. And I have to do the full 3 hours tonight. Which is fine. Which is fine. I mean, like, I'll do 6 hours if you guys don't mind me sleeping here. Just with it running. Is that what you're into? You like watching me sleep, you fucking perverts? Okay. Cheers. Thank you, On the John. I appreciate that. Oh, hold on. Let me give you the bell. There we go. Cheers. That was good. Okay.
Threw cuffs on Tracy and arrested her then and there. It was immediately very clear that she wasn't.
Ball says, be careful with that drinking. Look how it ruined Mersh. Yeah, see, Mersh is doing it for free, right? He's doing. You guys are paying me. God damn it, Rick. Okay. All right. Fuck. This was a bad idea. I knew this was a fucking bad idea. Because you guys are a bunch of fucking monsters. And I was like debating it in my head. Like, should I make it 20? Should I make it 20? I should just make it 20. But I didn't want nobody to donate. Right? I didn't want nobody to donate. So I'm just like, okay, here we go. How you doing, Rick? He says, woo, okay, you can start over now. Wait. Okay, fuck it. Whatever. I'm just going to go ahead and count this one as a drink. But next time, say drink or this is for drinking or do this for alcohol money, you fucking filthy whore. Call me a whore. Because that's what I'm doing. I'm putting my body on the line for money. That's it, for money. I'm shortening my life for dollar bills, y'all. That's what I'm doing. I'm disappointing my kids and my family. So, for money. Wouldn't be the first time, okay. The Minecraft movie sucked. It sucked. It was bad. It was not worth watching. The AI, the graphics on the AI. God damn it! God damn. Okay. Ric Flair with 10 more bucks. It says, drink up, whore. Anyways, let me tell you about the Minecraft movie. It was hot garbage. It was hot garbage, and the plot was like, it's like they put a bunch of different 80s movies into a blender and then kind of clipped along because we didn't need so much. Spent a lot of their budget on like the CGI, which was a lot of that was AI, but like unsettling. Like it was unsettling AI where the pig's skin was just a little bit too real, right? Especially for a kids movie. And it's like that's horrifying. That is horrifying. And like the writing was lazy. The writing was lazy. And Jack Black, he wasn't funny. He wasn't funny in it. He just said words in funny ways. It went like skibbly blow, skibbly blow, skibbly blow. And that was his bit. That was his jokes. Cheers to Rick again. God damn. Skibbly blow.
Completely coherent. Either way, she was taken in and booked. The police took a mugshot that has become nothing short of legendary, painting a clear picture of the results of abusing.
Couchsurfing says, if you guys like me more than John, you won't do this to me, LMAO.
This particular substance.
Nothing's happening to you, Jess. I'm just trying to keep you in finery. I'm trying to keep you in finery, bitch. You know, this is how it's done. This is how you make the donuts, okay? Some people go down in coal mines and stuff and get the black lung. I just have a different style. And, yeah. And it's only been half an hour, and I'm only down 4, which is a third of them.
While it was initially...
So I meant $40. Hey, that ain't bad, though. That ain't bad. $40? I'll take $40. Now, will they stop right now? I don't think so. I don't think these people have, like, empathy or, like, you know. See? Right there. Ric Flair's hair for another $10 says, do that silly Jack Black impression again, also drink. Skibbly blow! Skibbly blow! Honey, you're going to need to bring me water. I knew I should have said 20. I should have said $20. I knew it. But, like, once I said 10, I was locked in. Because I was like, no one could be here. No one could absolutely be here. And I'd just be doing Jack Black impressions to the darkness. And no one wants to do that, right? Jess hears it in the middle of the night. She'd be in a dead sleep. And then I'm like, skibbly blow! And then she wakes up. And, yeah. I don't know. That movie was terrible. It was seriously boring. I mean... Look, I didn't go in expecting like too much because I heard it was bad before I went. But when I was watching it, I gave it a good fair chance. And the visuals were great. I'm not gonna complain about the visuals. The writing was so subpar that it was painful. It was painful to sit through. We took it because it's my 4-year-old's birthday part. It's my 4-year-old's birthday. His party is tomorrow. But don't worry, I don't have to do anything for it. We already did all the planning and everything should work out just fine. But yeah, it wasn't good. It wasn't good at all. That movie's going to bomb. Absolute bomb. Just like Snow White. Just like Snow White's going to fucking bomb. Moving on.
That she was on bath salts at the time of the crime, the police never did come out with a specific confirmation. Regardless, she was held in jail on a $600 bond while the internet laughed off the entire incident.
I'm doing work here. I made $50 so far. Look at the fucking case. I made $50.
Miami wouldn't be left with only one bath salts related incident, not by a long shot.
Oh, background noise says Ko-Fi. Oh, God. Background noise says $10 make you do what? Oh, this is such a bad idea. This is such a bad idea. Such a fucking bad idea. Here we go. Okay. Oh, God. That wasn't even like a satisfying bell, though. Hold on. Let me get you more bell. Hold on, more bell. Okay, there. And I'm honestly just trying to give it some time. So I can fucking... my wife just walks in. She's like... Well, I gotta do it. The people paid for it. Yes. 30 people are coming here tomorrow?
I told you.
Well, I made $60. Oh. My wife is worried that you guys are going to make me drink to death.
Oh my god.
Not to death. Trust me. Remember when I used to like go to the bar and like I wouldn't even get started till like my fourth double?
Yes.
Wouldn't even get started. We partied. We partied pretty hard. Anyways. Arden Shire says there's a Ko-Fi. Oh, God. No, not a new Ko-Fi. It's just background noise.
One summer day, a man named Shane Schuler went into a local park on 19th Avenue,
right.
a park notably located directly behind the North Miami
Just
Beach
give me some
police
breathing
station.
room, for
He
God's
stripped
sakes.
down.
All right? Can you guys give me just a little bit of breathing room? You made me do half of this rack. Half of it. There's 6 left. So you made me do 6 shots, but they're more than shots. They're 50 milliliters, so we're only half an hour in. I had to check my wrist again.
Removing all of his clothes and laid down on a park bench.
Hey, you
This
can't
was when
take
a woman
those.
and her daughter
Those are my
entered through the park
moneymakers.
at the 20th Avenue.
You give me my moneymakers back. Look, Ric Flair, give another $10.
I'm gonna throw these up his head.
I can't. Okay, all right, Rick. Okay, this is the last. Okay, she took the rest of them. Okay, this is the one. All right, this is the last one. See, I knew this was a fucking bad idea.
Why did you run this by me?
I don't run things by you.
Yes, you do sometimes.
I do sometimes, but this is the last one, okay? This is the last one, Rick. So,
Enjoy it.
I haven't been enjoying them. Like, the last 3 were pretty painful, honestly.
Just wait.
I'm trying to, but they keep donating.
Just take a minute.
I don't want to. It's just like... I feel really bad. Not emotionally. I feel physically ill.
You're gonna puke.
Oh, God. So just, all right, everyone cool it on the money, all right? I made a mistake. I made a really bad mistake. I made a mistake by thinking you guys were, like, going to be cool.
New entrance when they saw Shane lying
This is my 7th in 30 minutes.
there naked on
In
the bench.
30
The
minutes!
mother said that he was completely naked with his junk
30 fucking minutes.
on full display. This was when she tried to walk past him and out of the park, but Shane stood up as she came into his vision, exposing himself fully to her toddler.
She seriously did take the rest of them, though. So this is the only one I have left, which is number 7. And I can't take it quite. I can't take it right now. It's just, oh my God. I drank 6 in like 30 minutes. Not even 30 minutes. It was like 10 minutes.
This was when Shane looked the kid straight in the eyes and said, chillingly, "Come here, little girl, I want to stick it in you."
That's horrifying. That is really, really scary. That's a really scary thing for somebody to say.
Needless to say, the mother grabbed her daughter and fled the scene. Luckily, Shane
Okay.
never did get close enough to even touch them. Being right behind a police station, it wasn't long
Despite Weaver says, sorry I'm late, we're cleaning out. Bad night to be late, apparently. Yeah, because I said I brought a thing of vodka and I said $10 a shot, and then everyone just started throwing money at me, which was really not okay.
Before the police were on the scene and arrested him. Upon arrest, they
Obedience says, well, starts wood chipper. I don't know. If like somebody said that around my kid, I wouldn't like run off, grab my kid and run off. I'd be like, you what, motherfucker? And I would start like hitting his head against like the monkey bars, like a lot. And that would be the end of it, I assume. I mean, there'd be a lot of blood. I'd probably be the one going to jail. Honestly, I'd be the one going to jail.
searched his clothes and found his
Almost
wallet
certainly.
containing both his ID and, as you may expect, bath salts. In court, Shane
Arden Sheriff says, LOL, despite what we've heard, no, you're right, on time for the party. Sulk is going to get his sword out soon. Honey? Oh, I see it. Yes. What is better than a high alcohol, blood alcohol content than a razor sharp? Hold on. Yeah. What? No. This is the best thing for our marriage right now. Is to be violent. What? I love you.
I love you too, Sue.
It's only been 30 minutes. It's only been 30 fucking minutes.
Have fun.
This is cool though, huh?
It's so cool. I love that sword.
Yeah, it's a good sword to have.
It's like, it's such a cool, it's really neat. I'm glad you got it.
Thank you. Thank you. See, she's very supportive. Except for when I try to do these drinking things. And she's all like, no, you can't. We have 30 people coming over tomorrow. And I'm like, fuck them.
Shane explained that he was indeed using the drug,
thought-
and he began to feel unbearably
see
hot
my
and
swad?
removed his clothes in order to cool off in the fountain. Feeling this overwhelming sense of heat is a notably common side effect of the drug. Surveillance camera footage from the park proved the mother's story to be correct. Shane was soon hit with various charges related to lewd activity and exposure.
Yeah, you should have just fucking, like, set him on fire or something like that. Some weirdo, he's like, I'm gonna stick my dick in you and shit like that. Yeah, bro, you're not sticking around. Like, seriously, I hate the homeless. I really do. And this guy, he's homeless. This is homeless activity.
Bath salts related cases weren't relegated to Florida by any means. It was becoming an international issue for sure.
Dude,
One
you guys made me drink so many shots, like, so fast. I was too fast.
The more memorable cases took place in New York City. It all started when two teenage boys were playing basketball outside of their home, only to see a middle-aged looking woman, Pamela McCarthy, age 35, come rolling down the stairs.
Ew, that's 35? That's your 35? That is, oh god, that's rough, sister. You look like shit for 35.
Leading up to her second floor apartment. With the two buildings sharing the same parking lot, the boys were able to get a good view of what was happening as they saw this woman tumble down the stairs, rolling over her 3-year-old son, landing on top of him. She stood up, with her arm around the young boy's waist. Despite having just wiped out onto the concrete, she stood up as if nothing had happened at all. She immediately began to argue with her boyfriend, Jason Williams, who was already outside. Then she locked eyes with one of the teenage boys, showing a spark of anger and shouting, "You better get out of here, you nasty F-slur." That was when the boy
Faggot.
dropped his basketball and ran upstairs to tell his dad what was going on.
See, this guy's on YouTube. I'm not on YouTube. I think I actually am on YouTube, but they don't care about me.
Pamela started to chase the boy, but he was able to get her lost behind a parked car and create some distance. Pamela then gave up, instead walking over and
Despite what you've heard, it says, I knew a guy who and his girlfriend who did bath salts. He's dead now. They were oily and smelled like fish.
sitting down next
Ew.
to her young son, choosing to begin choking him instead. Hands
Thought says, are bath salts actually bath salts or is it a street name for something? I think it's a street name for like designer drugs that they sell as bath salts because you can like ship bath salts, right? But like you can't ship like drugs.
Around his neck, she began to spin in circles and laugh. The teenager called 911 immediately as soon as he got inside. Pamela then ran back up the stairs of her apartment. When she came back out, she was completely naked. She picked up her child and threw him down onto the ground. Her boyfriend scooped the boy up and ran across the street to a nearby convenience store. Pamela ran after him, stopping in the middle of the street. She then came back to her apartment building and began to climb back up the stairs, only getting about halfway up before she fell all the way back down to the ground, landing headfirst onto the concrete. She sat up, calmed down for about a minute, and began to attempt the stairs again. She got back into her apartment one more time, this time coming out with a pit bull, only to roll down the stairs.
Ardenshire says, from what I've heard, it was some sort of mineral used in gardening, but I honestly have no clue. Just heard people eat it. I don't know what it is. I have no idea what bath salts are, but I mean, I'm surprised, right? You think it'd be like PCP or something, or I don't know, 2CB, some weird Coke. I don't know. Weird stuff.
Once again.
But no, I don't know what
she
it
did
is.
with her
I have no
son,
idea what it
She landed on
is.
top of the dog and began to choke him as well.
Choking the dog.
This all took place over only about 5 minutes. This was when the first police began to show up. Pamela began to growl at them as they approached her. When they got close, she attempted to bite one of them. They sprayed her with some pepper spray, but it had absolutely no effect. Still having her arm around the dog's neck, the police officer...
I'm sorry, the pepper spray had absolutely no effect? It had absolutely no effect. You pepper sprayed somebody and they're just like, look, just like, shh, and they just stood there. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's when I use the taser. Because the taser, it takes control of your muscles. It's a better way of doing it.
Officers tried to pull her off, but it couldn't be done.
Yep.
This was when one officer warned her that he would tase her. She didn't
Hell
care,
yeah.
so he fired once.
Hell
As with the
yeah.
pepper spray, it had no effect.
It's
Pamela didn't
tasing
even
time.
flinch. Trying
It's
again, he
tasing.
pressed the taser up against her back and fired. She finally let go of the dog, and this was when a trooper was able to slap some handcuffs on her. She fell onto her stomach as the cop put his knee on her back to hold her down. Little did they know, Pamela was just recovering from heart surgery when she decided it would be an opportunity.
And then it says John McAfee was a huge user of MDPV, which I guess is the compound in it. It makes you super horny. So is it a stimulant? Is that what it is? Is it a stimulant? I want to know. Because I would assume that would make you super horny.
Time to try the drug. She went into cardiac arrest shortly after and was...
This bite says yes from a hammock. No, that's like, no. He liked the poopings from the hammock, right? Which is like a very creative idea. Let's give it to John McAfee, right? I know he was a badass in like so many other ways, but it's very creative to have like a teenage prostitute poop on you through a hammock. That's something I never would have thought of. Never in a million years would I have thought of that. Never, ever. But here we go, John McAfee. He's like, poop on me through a hammock. I'll sit under the hammock and you poop on me, and then I'll get sexual gratification from that. Okay, John, you're a psychopath.
rushed to the hospital where she ultimately passed away. Her boyfriend said after the fact that he had known of her history of drug abuse, but he had never seen her like this. Many times in the past, he had tried to get help for her, even trying to get her own mother to do something. This grandmother then took custody of Pamela's son, who was luckily treated with only minor injuries.
Now, Rick, I still have your shot right here, and I'm just like, I'm letting the rest of the shots hit me before I drink it, because, like, I feel like you guys have devastated me. But it hasn't taken a full effect yet. Trust me. I'm going downhill. I'll make eye contact with you. Do you see how serious I am? Thank you for being so destructive in my life. You, all of you. I thought you loved me.
Down in Georgia,
Okay.
a bizarre
Alright.
case took place that would do nothing to help
I'm
the currently
kidding.
spreading
I'm kidding.
rumors that bath salts were leading to a cannibalism epidemic. Some even saying that they would lead to the
Ric
start
Flair
of a
says
zombie
sippy
apocalypse.
sippy, John, because he's just he just wants to. You're like the Joker. You want to watch the world burn. It's not about like my welfare or the welfare of my family. It's my son's birthday tomorrow. Well, it's his birthday today, and so as a good father, I had to get smashed to make money. It was about money. Okay, it wasn't about anything else. It was about money.
On an average day, some patrons were hitting some balls at a golf course when they saw a young man, Carl Laventure, jump out of the woods, completely naked, as he began to run around the Atlanta golf range. He picked up a club from the ground and began to wave it around his head as he screamed. Police were called.
Father
Once
of the
they
year,
showed up,
thank
they
you.
attempted to subdue the man, but they couldn't. This was due to what they themselves called his superhuman strength. When that failed, they turned to the pepper spray. This also left him completely unfazed.
Now, I know I talk about the taser a lot, but I do not I don't underestimate the power of pepper spray. I would use pepper spray probably more often than I would use a taser, but above all, I would use the nightstick. As a cop, if I were to be a cop, like tomorrow I changed career paths, and then now I'm a cop. Officer John, Officer Sulky John is out there on patrol, and then some fucking prostitute gives me lip. I'm all like, that's interesting. Have you met my friend, Officer Nightstick? And then I would beat her for 45 minutes continuously. Even well beyond the point of necessity. Well beyond that. I would just keep on beating her because she's like a sore on society. And I'm kind of one of those cops that, enjoys their job, but like enjoys what their job means. Like I'm trying to make society better. And so I'm not going to stop when you stop. I'm going to stop when I feel finished. When I feel done, that's when I'll stop. And yeah, you probably won't survive because that's how I felt. That's what I want to do. And that seems murdery, but, tomato.
He didn't
That's
even
what I
attempt
say.
to wipe
That's
it
what I
off
say.
or even close
Tomato,
his eyes,
tomato.
leaving them wide open, red and bloodshot as he continued to battle the police. Concerned, they upped the ante and pulled out the tasers. The first shot did knock Carl down to the ground, but it only stopped him for
I can't believe my wife took the rest of those shots with her. She's like, she's very caring, and she's like, you can't beat this. I'm hammered.
moment before he stood back up and continued his attack. One officer said, "We had to tase him approximately 5 more times on the scene to get him down. It took several officers to hold him down to get him cuffed." A video clip was recorded once Carl was finally on the ground.
Oh.
He was face down, naked, and mumbling incoherently.
Yeah,
He stated
I
he
do
was
that
going
too.
to eat the faces off of the officers.
Yeah.
Between gibberish, curse words, and nonsensical babbling, he threatened to eat even more of the golf course patrons. He then rambled about Tupac and Biggie before he started to make animal noises before moving.
Wait, what did he say about Tupac and Biggie, though? Did he say Tupac wasn't... Was he... He might have had valuable information. That's all I'm saying.
On to more threats. He attempted to look up at the officers, saying, "I'ma eat you. I'll eat you. I don't want to eat you, but I will." The police were able to take him under control and haul him out to a nearby hospital. Unfortunately, he wasn't finished. He lashed out and attacked one of the nurses on site, causing another brawl with the police. His behavior was quickly linked to bath salts as well, only further bringing the designer drug into the spotlight.
So, when they say designer drug, do they mean like a mix of various drugs? Like, there's a little MDMA, there's some amphetamines in there, there's some like PCP, there's some like weird shit like 2CB in there. Is that what they mean? Or that has to be what they mean. That has to be what they mean. I don't know what bath salts is. I don't know what component of bath salts actually gets you high and in what way it gets you high. Is it PCP? Is it straight up PCP? Because what? Scott just says yes. But yes to what? Yes to what? Thought says, didn't they make K2 illegal? I don't know. I never smoked K2. I was never willing to smoke K2. K2 seemed like a foolish thing to smoke because weed was prevalent where I was from, and it wasn't hard to get. And a lot of times, especially around fall, like October, you could get big bags of free weed just if you knew the right people. It's pretty easy. And butter, like people would make like weed butter, and like that was basically free too.
The chaos spread.
Thought says, John, check the book FICAL for a list of designer drugs and their experiences. I won't remember. I won't, but I would be interested, but I won't remember that.
Spread all the way to Houston, Texas.
But thank you.
This was where a woman named Stephanie Dillard was driving along the...
You have to understand, Thought. At this point, my brain is no longer recording memories, which is probably a good thing. Because Rick just decided to waltz on in here and give me like $50 for shots. Like the asshole Rick is. But it wasn't just Rick. There was a couple other people in there. Obedient gave me one, I think. But Rick was just like, hey, I'm going to ruin this guy's life. I'm going to ruin his day. Thank you, Rick. Thank you.
The road with her 3 children before she came to crash into a bus. All 3 of her kids, aged 16, 12, and 5, were left with minor injuries, but...
Thought says, I'm pretty libertarian, but even heroin doesn't make people slice each other's faces off. I don't know what is... You know, this is a conspiracy channel, right? So maybe 5G towers had something to do with it. Maybe the 5G towers in conjunction with the vibration that this certain chemical created in the human brain made them very perceptive to suggestion to the point where they essentially became zombies. Have you ever seen The Kingsman? Thought. Have you ever seen The Kingsman? Of course you have. Of course you have. It would probably be something like that. Everyone was in church smoking bath salts, as you do. As I do. And then some signal was sent out, and then some sort of ruckus erupted. And there you go. There you go.
Fortunately survived the collision. Stephanie, instead of caring for her kids, instead began to strip off all of her clothes as she ran across the street into a nearby CVS. Upon entering the store, she quickly...
Triple N says, the chemical spice... Oh, spice? Yeah, I've never smoked spice. No. I've heard terrible things about spice. But he says it's SIS-3 parentheses 2-hydroxy 4 parentheses 1. I don't know what that means, brah. I'm not a chemist. You know? I'm not... I have my GED. Do you know that? So you like dropping this kind of science. I don't get that. I'm stupid. And I'm going to stay stupid.
They made their way over to the frozen food section and found the ice cream.
Hey, but I did really good on my GED. I did like really good on it. So, you know.
Ravenously consumed the ice cream then and there in the store while continuing to remove her clothing. When the police arrived, she continued to eat the ice cream while attempting to both fight and evade.
Just so I could get the fuck out of high school. Because I fucking hated that place with more passion than you could ever understand. But yeah, I did really good on it.
The police officers. Eventually, she was taken into custody. She was charged with multiple counts of endangering the welfare of a child as the kids were taken to live with their grandmother. Her bail...
Wow, shocking. Black kids living with their grandma? Whoa! 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 No way. I've never heard of that before. I've never heard of their grandma taking care of kids because their whore mom is out there smoking crack or bath salts or some shit like that. I don't get that. I don't get that. Why would you have a kid and not be like, yo, maybe I should stop doing all these drugs? I understand I have kids and I'm like thoroughly drunk. But again, it was for money. That's what it was. It was for money. It was for nothing else. Not my personal enjoyment at all, because you guys made me drink way too fast. And my wife is sober. So there. I'm a good parent. I am a good parent. I honestly am a good parent. I'm a fantastic dad, and you wish you had me as a dad.
Bail was set
really
for $2,000. The police, once again, came to find that this case was related in large part to the use of bath salts.
I'm gonna do a dab.
Up in Illinois, a man named Matthew V. Miller, upon ingesting the substance himself, jumped onto the top of a stranger's car and held onto the hood for an entire 4 miles as the driver attempted to get away. The driver was terrified of Matthew's demeanor, saying that he was out of his mind. When the car came to a stop, the police took Matthew into custody. Matthew exclaimed that he was merely trying to run away from people that were trying to eat him. Police came to find
Ric
an
Flair
empty
says the first step is admitting you have a problem. I haven't done that. I haven't taken that. No, I don't have a problem. Never said I had a problem at all. So I don't have a problem. So I'm not taking any first step. So thank you, Rick. Okay, the first step to admitting... Wait, hold on. What did you say? The first step to admitting you have a problem is... You're my problem, Rick. You are my problem. You're causing the problem.
Which previously contained bath salts out near where the ride started, believing that they had belonged to him.
Hey, Strawberry.
Matthew, lucky to even be alive without major injury, was charged with possession.
Strawberry says, I think you're a good parent, John. I mean, we won't hold the falling out of a tree thing against you. Dude, he's a fucking... Come on. He fell like a 3 feet. Maybe tops. And like, that was not my fault. That was not my fault. Come on.
Possession of a controlled
That's
substance,
ridiculous.
disorderly
But thank
conduct,
you,
and criminal damage to property.
Thank you.
In Pennsylvania,
That's funny.
30...
That's funny you say that because, yeah, just let him fall out of a fucking wagon when he was like 6 months old. So, no, he was older than that. He was like pretty close to a year, but still.
A 1-year-old new mother named Carla Murphy had just given birth 2 days prior and was still in the hospital. The doctors, feeling concerned that something was wrong with her mental state, decided to hold her over for a mental health evaluation.
Fuck that. So the hospital will try to get you to stay there as long as possible, no matter what, because they want to make money. Don't listen to them. Do not listen to them at all, because they take advantage of people, especially young parents they take advantage of, because they're like, oh, these people don't know shit about, so we just say their baby's going to die. This is what they did to me. They said, if you leave, your baby's going to die. And I was like, I fucking doubt that. And I left. I fucking doubt that a lot. And so I left. And they were pissed about it. They made like a scene. They made a scene like the floor manager or something like that. She was some sort of hospital administrator. She came in and she's like, she gave us a bunch of shit, dude. Wait till Jess comes in and she'll tell you all about it, dude. It was ridiculous. And it was like nothing. They just wanted us to stay longer so we would pay them more. Nothing was wrong. But that's what they do. They try to make you think that something terrible could happen if you leave. That way, every night you spend there is another, like, what, $6,000? It's ridiculous. It's stupid.
When they walked her back over to her new room, she began to freak out, running off into a nearby restroom. She stripped off all of her clothes and began to roll around on the bathroom
God, you're gross, too. You're ugly. Keep your clothes on, ugly.
Floor while screaming in confusion. Doctors attempted to calm her down, but she was unable to respond to even the most basic of questions. She couldn't
right.
even answer as to where
Cheers.
she was. Doctors administered an antipsychotic called Haldol and brought Carla to sit on the bed. She continued to flail around and yell at the staff. Eventually, she decided to make a break for it and run towards the door, pushing
right.
through a group of...
Okay. So that was Ric Flair's last donation. No more alcohol. No more alcohol donations. That was like 7. That's just too many. It's too many. It's too many. Yeah. Anyways. That's too many.
nurses and security to do so. The hospital security eventually brought her back to the bed and laid her down, but she shot back up one more time and punched a nurse in the face. She then kicked an officer and tried to bite him. She was held down until the Haldol finally put her to sleep, horse-kicking a nurse.
Nice. Can anybody get me some Haldol? Like a lot of it. Can anybody get me like horse tranquilizers? Because I'm very horse-like. I might be considered a centaur. My lower half is huge. I mean my legs.
Nurse in the chest one last time as she faded out.
And it says Haldol for the win. I want to try it. I gotta try this shit.
Police came out to the hospital and arrested Carla when she...
Onia says, yeah, I stopped SSRIs, and now if I want to get high, I'll have to take SSRIs again. Damn, that sucks, dude. Don't do SSRIs. SSRIs are bad. They're bad. Now, like, that's not true, like, across the board. Like, if you're seriously having very serious issues where you need SSRIs or else you're going to kill yourself, then yes. But SSRIs are overprescribed for people that don't need SSRIs, and then they kind of make you dependent on them, right? Because the moment you come off of SSRIs, especially if you've been on them for a long period of time, you get suicidally depressed. So don't do SSRIs if you can help it.
She came to. Investigators found a dismantled ink pen in her purse.
Stott says you don't want a Haldol, John. How do you know? You know me like that? You know me like that, Thought? Come on. Come on. Come on.
Containing what appeared to be a white substance tightly rolled in medical tape with disco written across. Disco was the name of a specific brand of bath salts that was in...
And then says, I'm on them. I kind of fucked myself up with MDMA. Okay, that seems like a very reasonable, like, that's a reason to be on SSRIs. Because MDMA, first, it's Molly, right? So it dumps serotonin into your brain. That's what Molly does. It just dumps huge amounts of serotonin into your brain, and it can it can exhaust your brain's ability to absorb serotonin. And so, to counteract that, especially after extended use, SSRIs could probably help that. But that is like the only realistic case, besides very serious, like, medical necessity for SSRIs. Most SSRI cases don't need to exist. Most people who are prescribed SSRIs do not need to be prescribed SSRIs. They are depressed for a reason. And that reason is their life sucks. Human beings' lives shouldn't suck as much as they do currently, because they shouldn't. They just shouldn't. Right? We have the technology. We have all the things where a human doesn't need to suffer like that. So your brain says, I'm out of serotonin. I'm unhappy, right? And then society says that you must be crazy, because why would you be unhappy in such a utopian society that we've built? Which is fucking crazy. This is so far from utopian. Like, it's very far from utopian. But how about that? You get to pay for these SSRIs for the rest of your life. No! If my brain says I'm unhappy, I'm going to try to make it happy no matter what. I mean, drugs will do that. But SSRIs don't make you happy. Did you know that? SSRIs don't make you happy. they make you blank. They make you blank. There's no feeling. There's no empathy or sympathy or sarcasm or sadness or anything like that. It's just blankness. It's robotic. I've done SSRIs. I have. And I give it a good fair shot and stuff like that. They kind of made me gain weight. Read Aldous Huxley, A Brave New World. He mentions a drug called Soma in it. And it lines up with SSRIs pretty perfectly. Your brain is sad for a reason. Your brain is sad for a reason. And it's not because it's broken. It's not broken. It's sad because things fucking suck. Things suck. That's why your brain is sad. It wants you to fix things. It wants you to fix society. It wants you to fix your life, but society is a part of life, right? So it wants you to basically rebel. And so they feed you SSRIs, here, more. And they make it part of a cake and shit like that. And they make it so it's not weird to take SSRIs, but it is weird. That's a very weird thing. Isn't that a weird thing to take SSRIs? To take something to trick your brain into being happy? Why do I have to do that? Why do I have to trick my brain into being happy? Shouldn't it just be happy? You go out and you see these Amazonian tribes, these Papua New Guinean tribes and stuff like that. You think they need SSRIs? Any single fucking one of them? No. Why is that? Why is that? Because they just something weird. They don't have this genetic variability or something like that. Or maybe they're just not sad because of the situation they grew up in, the society that they came to know. SSRIs are bad for a lot of reasons. But the worst reason for that is that they will make you not make society better. They will make you not make your life better. And that's why you're sad. That's why you're fucking sad right now. Because your life needs to be better. And your brain is telling you this on like, not just a subconscious level, but like a very liminal level. Where you're like, you're unhappy. Why are you so unhappy? Figure that shit out. Your brain has done nothing but try to figure out problems. This is another problem. It wants to figure out. It makes you sad. You haven't figured out this problem. Figure out the problem. Don't trick your brain into think you figured out the problem already. Because you haven't. You haven't. When you really figure out the problem, you won't need SSRIs. You won't need benzos. You won't need opiates or anything like that. You might like them. Because fuck no, I do. I'm sorry. But I do. I like drugs. I can't do drugs because I'm very busy. But sure, I like them. But I don't like them because I need them. I don't need to have that. But so many people need to have that because they wake up at 7:30 in the morning and then they fucking brush their fucking teeth and they get in the traffic to go to work and shit. I would be pretty depressed too. I'd be pretty depressed too. You know, you go every day, you drive so far. For what? For no reason. I mean, is your job even worth it? It doesn't mean shit. It doesn't mean shit. So why keep doing it?
circulation at the time. She was taken into Blair County Prison on a probation violation and an outstanding warrant. She was soon released and given her freedom once again as the hospital police declined to press charges. After the incident, a caseworker visited her home and, upon getting permission from Carla and her boyfriend, began to look around. This led to police conducting a full search, finding needles, plenty of tinfoil, broken bottles containing brown residue, and, of course, bath salts. Carla's boyfriend admitted that she had a problem with the substance, but he had thought that she stopped using it after they
Hello,
previously
Fenrir. How you doing?
had issues with her
Check your PayPal. Okay, I'll check my PayPal. I can't drink anymore. I just cannot. My wife hid the alcohol, and like everyone was donating for me to take a shot. I can't take any more shots. Fenrir, oh my God, $50 says. I have you heard of Samuel? Hold on, let me look. $50 though, Jesus, that's very, very generous of you. Hey, have you heard of Samuel Anwar or? So he started a Gnostic cult in Mexico. I don't know. A deep dive on this would be neat. Just saying. That's how you're a cult and all. So go to Sulkstream official, at Sulkstream official, and then message me a link, and I will watch it, and then I will decide if it's worth the show. Because I'm not saying like worth the show, because a lot of people send me very good stuff and then I watch it and then I'm just like, no, I can't do this. I can't do it. Sometimes it's like too intense, or it just, I don't know. Obedient recently sent me something that was good and I watched the whole thing, but it was a difficult conversation. And sometimes I don't want to have extremely difficult conversations. I do want to have difficult conversations. I really do. But they are difficult conversations because they are difficult. Sometimes I don't want to do that. I'm not making a fucking lick of sense. It doesn't matter. Thank you for the $50 though. And send me the link. I will decide whether or not it is worth doing on the stream. Sometimes I can't do it. Sometimes I can.
actions. In the end,
Oh,
both
wait.
he
Did I
and
give you the
Carla
bell?
were
I didn't give you the bell, did I? Here's some bell. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
charged with various paraphernalia offenses.
I'm making good money tonight. I like that. I'm happy about that.
Out in Ohio, Vandalia to be
Yeah,
specific,
$100 so far.
one family had quite the weird bath salts experience. In November, an 11-year-old boy came home to find a 44-year-old man, Terry Trent, sitting on his couch and watching TV. The boy
Shoot him. Shoot him with a fucking gun. Shoot that motherfucker right in the head with a fucking... Dude, this is why I'm going to teach my kids to shoot a gun. I mean, they already know. My 3-year-old shot a gun. I didn't give him a loaded gun and then I said, go for it. But I was just like holding it. And I was like very careful not to let him like do anything stupid with it. But I want to make sure my kids know how to handle a firearm. It doesn't even have to be a firearm, just any weapon. Because it's stupid. People are out to get you. People are out to get you. Not just me. Everyone here in the chat. People are out to get you. That sounds paranoid. And like, I guess it is to a certain level, to a certain degree. But come on, you can't agree that that's not true. People are out to get you. Not because you're special or important, but just simply because you're a person, right? People are out to get you. Learn to fucking carry a firearm. For God's sakes, it is your God-given duty as an American to carry a gun. To carry any gun. A lot of them are illegal. I'm I don't want to dip into that conversation. Carry a gun. Carry a gun. Keep it near you, 6 feet minimum at all times. I don't want to lose followers. I don't want to lose viewers. I have a very limited flock. And I want to make sure they stay alive. Especially if I can make their lives a little bit better. That's what I'm doing. You know, man. No. Well, carry a fucking gun. For God's sakes, what is wrong with you? Especially if you're a man. Why would you carry a gun? Why wouldn't you carry... shit. I have a knife right here. My gun is close. My gun is close. Don't be stupid. Don't be stupid. Defend yourself. Be able to defend yourself. It doesn't matter if anybody's after you or you made anybody mad or anything like that. It doesn't matter at all. It doesn't matter at all. No. No, sir, it doesn't. Defend yourself because it's your fucking duty. Especially if you have kids and stuff. My God. You would be so irresponsible not to defend yourself properly if you have kids. That's your job. Just like it's your job to defend your kids.
They had never seen this man before. The boy screamed out to his mother, who was next door with the neighbor. This was when Terry stood up and said, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to scare you."
Big Dickus says, what's the difference between a hormone and an enzyme? You can hear an enzyme, but you can't hear a hormone.
I'll get my things and go.
Well done.
The mother called the police and screamed for the neighbors to come and help.
Thank you very
She
much.
came over to get her son to see that candles were lit, the TV was on, and to her surprise, a Christmas wreath had been placed on both the front door and the garage door. She then went inside and was shocked to see...
Cheddar says, I'm a Canadian. Even I carry a gun. Where are you at? What's your province? Because I think that matters. If you're in Toronto and stuff, or whatever province that happens to be, I think it's probably less likely. But if you're out in... Stop it, cat. I don't know. The country. I think it's probably pretty easy. But good. I'm glad you do. Every one of you should. I'm very serious.
Either the drugged-up intruder had actually put up all of her Christmas decorations inside as well. Rather than getting into the criminal spirit, it seems that Terry had been taken over by the holiday spirit instead. Christians may call this a Christmas miracle.
Cheddar says Ontario. Ontario, huh? Did they let you carry a gun in Ontario?
But anyone else would probably
That's
just
weird.
say that it's really weird. When the police came out,
I've been to Vancouver, but I haven't been to Ottawa or Ontario.
they caught Terry and found that he had a pocket knife on his
Vancouver was beautiful. Yeah.
possession, noting that it appeared he had been abusing bath salts. According to the police,
I've been abusing bath salts. I haven't had enough salt baths. That's what I mean.
he had a long history of drug-related charges against him.
Cheddar says not legally. What do you carry, Cheddar? You're carrying illegally, which I don't have any problem with, because when I was in California, I would carry it illegally too. Which I don't think in America is really a thing, because it didn't violate the Constitution. I think violations of the Constitution is illegal. So me carrying a firearm in my belt was not illegal. But it doesn't matter. What did you carry? Because you're Canadian. What did you carry?
Terry was charged with
If you don't want to tell me,
burglary
you
and
don't have
taken into the Montgomery
That's
County
fine.
Jail.
I don't care. I want to know.
New York State clearly had its hands full with the epidemic. The bath salts cases weren't isolated to New York City by any means, with a smaller city named Utica notably having their own battle against the substance users. While there were many cases within the city, a few gained more notoriety than the others. One Saturday night, the police were called out to investigate.
I can't believe I made like $100 tonight. I mean, like, thank you. Thank you for making my dreams come true. I know that sounds sarcastic. I'm not being sarcastic. Although I am being sarcastic. No, I'm not being sarcastic. I'm just really hammered because Rick came in and decided to ruin everything.
Woman who was reported to be, quote, emotionally disturbed. Once an officer approached her, she lunged towards him, pouncing on him, and tried to bite down on his face. According to the police, she was screaming that she wanted to kill them and eat them. She was taken into the hospital for a mental health evaluation. 2 days later, the same police were called to investigate yet another woman going berserk on bath salts. Once the officers showed up to the scene in which they were called, they were greeted with the sight of a 22-year-old woman in the middle of the street wearing nothing but a pair of underwear. She was foaming at the mouth, running into traffic, behaving violently, and nearly getting hit by car after car. She was screaming to anyone who may listen that her clothes were electrocuting her and that she, in her own words, had metal inside of her, whatever that might mean.
What does that mean?
She said that her skin was burning, on fire, and that she couldn't get near any metal or wires. The police had to hold the woman down and restrain her until an ambulance could arrive. She was taken to St. Elizabeth's Hospital. It turns out that she had tried to inject the bath salts into her system, but upon failing, instead decided to eat the entire bag.
I was trying to, do the math.
While you may have had the impression
yeah, that's a lot.
that these problems were isolated to the US and Europe, Canada was having its own struggle with the illicit substance as well. One night in Calgary, the police were called at around midnight to come check out a young man who was behaving very strangely.
Wait. Who is Samuel Anwar? Shit. I spilled my drink, you fucking asshole. Hold on. I want to see who this is. Just here, bear with me.
Witnesses had seen the young man, roughly 18 to 25, attempting and succeeding in hurting himself in various ways. The police arrived to see a nearly naked young man standing in an alleyway, slamming his face up against a fence repeatedly and behaving very irrationally. The man was spacing out entirely, not showing any response whatsoever to the police's commands. He was bleeding heavily from his face. It took what the police called a sufficient amount of officers to take him down. Once the ambulance was called, they had to chemically subdue the man in order to calm him down. The officers noted that he seemed to have...
I'm sorry. I really have to understand who this is.
Lecture: The Knowledge of Oneself by Samael Aun-Weor. We are going to talk a bit about spiritual restlessness. The first thing we need is a deep creative comprehension, for this is fundamental to know oneself. Where do we come from? Where are we going? What is the objective of existence? Why do we live? What do we live for? There was a phrase at the entrance of the Temple of Delphi which read,
This is too much, bro. This is way too much. It's just a little too thick.
Have superhuman strength and an infinitely high threshold for pain. He was taken away to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. There, doctors found that he had nearly succeeded in cutting his entire nose off. When it was found that his body temperature was abnormally high, it was concluded that bath salts were the likely culprit. In Scottsdale, Arizona, a 45-year-old man named John Brigham had gotten into a car accident. This was when he stripped naked in the middle of the road and stood on top of his car, screaming and chanting. He managed to make his way over to a woman in a Prius nearby, pulling her out of the car and successfully carjacking it. He took off down the road and crashed into a group of 5 other vehicles, causing the Prius to roll multiple times, being ejected from the car and sent flying down the road. He stood back up and then attempted to run down the road and steal another car. All the while, he was continually screaming, "The Indians are coming." The police observed John as he attempted to make his way into 2 more vehicles. In the end, 7 people were injured. One of the injured was a pregnant woman. The police finally wrangled John and took him out to jail. There, he tore off all of his clothes once again and began to scream as he banged on the walls. It was obvious that he was in some sort of drug-induced stupor, with the witnesses claiming that he had been on bath salts. He was taken to the hospital to be evaluated. John was charged with 6 counts of endangerment, 3 counts of attempted robbery, 2 counts of aggravated assault, 2 counts of leaving the scene of a crash, 2 counts of driving under the influence, 1 count of robbery, and 1 count of vehicle theft. He was held in jail on a $100,000 bond.
Alright.
In Greendale, California, a 77-year-old woman asked a 20-year-old...
Okay. Now that I have found them, they are going to be $20 a shot. And if you don't want to donate $20, then you don't have to get a shot. And that's honestly going to make my wife very happy. If you want to piss off my wife, it's $20. And I know most of you are animals and monsters and stuff. So I don't expect any of you to actually donate anything. Because I don't think you would do that to my wife. Because I think you like her a lot more than you like me. Yeah.
Old man, Robert William White, to stop attempting to hit pigeons with a shovel. Upon hearing this, he turned to her and told her, "I hate you and want to kill you today," before hitting her over the head with his shovel. Robert then ran over to his apartment in a nearby building and locked himself inside, hiding away for well over an hour.
Cheddar says Sulk is drunk. And how could you think that? Because you probably haven't seen the earlier part of this show. Where people paid me like a very good amount of money to take lots of shots. And I'm just gonna do ASMR. Hear me. I am gonna do ASMR. I'm gonna whisper deeply in your ear until you come. Yeah, it feels good. It works.
This was when the police
It
were
works.
able to
I
get
think
a
it
key
works.
from management and let themselves inside.
I think it's good.
He was
I think it's
accused of attempting to kill the old woman. However, he was completely
Get the star back
incoherent.
out.
He didn't respond logically to
You got it,
anything they were
farmer.
saying. All he did was
Boom!
fight back. He told police that he was an alien and that he had been in direct
I
contact
got the sword out. Farmer. I got the sword out. For you. For you, homeboy. So what's up?
with Jesus Christ at the time of the attack, who had pushed him to do it in the first place.
Despite what you've heard, says not enough likes. And I haven't seen how many likes there are, so if there, I'm going to go ahead and refresh and see if there aren't. There's no 20 likes. No, 20 likes is okay. 20 likes is okay. I would like it if you did like it. But, oh, it's cold. It's cold. It doesn't matter. I know how difficult it is clicking a fucking button.
The police were forced to resort to using rubber bullets and taser guns just to arrest him. When they did, they handcuffed him to a wheelchair to get...
Fenrir says, hey, LOL, check your PayPal again and get crunk. Oh my god, dude. You're like really... I mean, you're a good guy and stuff like that, but I don't know if you're going to heaven. Give me another $50, dude. Give me another $50. Jesus Christ, dude. I mean, like, thank you so much. But, bro, you're being irresponsible. But it's really about me being irresponsible. But I will drink for that. That's $50. I'm going to drink for that. I'm going to drink for a $50 donation. He says, get drunk. Whoop. I mean, fuck, I made like $150 so far tonight. Which is wild for me. Which is wild. Because, again, I don't do this for money. I do this to judge you people. That's what I want to do, mainly. Mainly, I want to cast judgment on 90% of you. It's awful. It's awful. It's awful.
Get him out of the apartment. While being
But
wheeled
thank you
out,
so much. Hold on, Fen. I mean, like, thank you so much, bro. I really appreciate that. You're a good man. You're a good bro.
Robert began to shout, "God loves you all," while holding an expression of rage to all the bystanders who were now watching. Robert was taken to a local hospital, as well as the old woman. The old woman was injured, but nothing life-threatening. She made a full recovery. Robert was found to have been drinking soda that he had filled with bath salts.
Okay. We have half an hour until I have like an hour and a half left. Because I'm gonna go long tonight. I'm doing the Rumble Premium. And dude, they pay you for that. I had no idea they paid you. They pay you for doing Rumble. They give me like $700. I'm like, what the fuck? Why? Why would you? But they. Awesome. That's really cool. I was doing this for basically free anyway. Oh!
In Phoenix, Arizona, one man took bath salts while driving a moving truck that he had rented.
Don't tell people what I told you.
While driving, he stripped off his pants. However, in doing so, he lost control and crashed the truck into someone's home. He then fled from the
Ric
scene.
Flair says he's the good guy, but I'm the asshole. Yeah. Yes, Rick. Yes. Rick, I can say this with 100% honesty. I do love you because I think you're a very funny individual and I really like your responses. But you are an asshole to like the way up here.
Without pants and ran off into the night.
Way up here.
Luckily, it was 2:30 a.m. and the owner of the home was sleeping in a bedroom in the back of the home when the truck plowed through and completely destroyed the living room. Unluckily, though, his home was deemed unlivable until a good number of repairs were made.
Onia says, I'm a piggy bank. I'm a pay piggy now. Congrats, John. I watched ROTC since episode 80, but you convinced me. Are you seriously watching ROTC? I never watched ROTC. Not once in my life have I watched ROTC. I got onto this whole gang just because I don't know, Royce wanted me on. He said you should be a part of it, and I just fell into it. I honestly fell into this 100%, and it's not making me any money.
The moving truck had to be dislodged from the wreckage of the home and...
But I like hanging out with you guys. You guys are a lot of fun. You guys actually... I'm not even kidding, right? This is not about the money in the least bit. I genuinely like hanging out with you guys. You guys are fun for me. You make witty comments. You have good opinions. And I think I value your point of view. But you're faggots too. So don't get too like uppity about it, all right?
way.
Don't be like, oh, you're no.
It wasn't long before the police found the half-naked, screaming, thrashing man and subdued him.
But the rest of it is good. The rest of your opinions and stuff, I really value.
It wasn't really hard for the police to identify the man as he had left his wallet behind in his pants. The worst part of the story
Obedience says Sulk called his best. Thank you.
is that the homeowner did not have insurance.
You guys are the best. That's not even like I'm not even. It's not even a thank you issue. You guys are
at
the
the
best.
time, leaving his future very uncertain.
Who's Lark94? You joined a gang with Royce, LOL. Who are you, Lark? Are you cool? Are you cool?
Over in the UK, they were having their own battle dealing with, well, they would call it monkey dust. One of the most well-known cases over there was that of a man in Staffordshire who climbed up on a roof in nothing but...
Vanware says, all hell Sulk. Don't help me. Don't. I am the same as you. I am the same person. Well, not the same literal person, but I am the same level of garbage as you are. Don't tell me you're not garbage. You are also I'm garbage. I'm not saying I'm not garbage. You're garbage too.
But
okay.
Those who
Don't hail me. I'm not hailable.
watched him climb up onto the roof said
Jesus is hailable. I am not hailable.
climbing up the wall exactly the way that a monkey
You're
would.
garbage. I'm garbage.
The police were called as the man trampled around the two-story roof, endangering basically only himself. They could tell right from the beginning that the man was zonked out of his mind.
Zonked.
Right away they knew what they were dealing with, as they had actually arrested at least 16 people on that same drug in the month leading up to this incident. Before too long, the man did exactly...
What should we make? Like, when we get the cult together, should we make meth? Does anybody have the technical expertise to make meth? Or should we make divinity? Which I think I'm pretty good at it. Right? At least imagine divinity. Which is nothing. Which is
what they
absolutely
feared
nothing.
he would do and jumped off the roof.
You guys got me wasted. You guys got me fucking wasted. It's just so stupid.
When he
Fuck
did,
you,
he ended
Rick.
up breaking several different...
Rick and the rest of you. Hold on. I have a list. Hey, Farmer Chewy. How you doing, bud? Sorry I didn't. Hey, Biggest Dickus. Sorry. If I didn't mention you, if you came into chat and I didn't mention you, I'm sorry. But, like, just been accosted by people with money for alcohol.
different bones, mainly in his legs.
Which I'm not.
Nevertheless, he managed to get up and fight with the cops, who said that he had incredible Hulk-like strength and seemingly wasn't able to feel any pain.
Hey, Lark.
Eventually, though, he
Just a dude from Arkansas. Well, welcome. As long as you're not attacking me. Because for some reason, I get this group of people that attacks me like all the time. Like, I don't know who they are. I don't know what their deal is. I don't know why they attack me. I think it has something to do with me being part of ROTC, like that kind of circle. But it's like, why attack me? I'm not a big creator. I'm just me. But they do fervently attack me on a regular basis.
was taken in and arrested, and likely felt the pain
Rick Flair says, "You look sleepy, Baba." Me? No, I'm okay.
the next day.
I'm solid.
After this incident, police in the area launched what they called Operation Disrupt, a task force that set out to deal with nothing but monkey dust. One police officer on the task force made a statement in which he iterated, "We have seen cases where we've got people running into traffic. We've seen cases where we've got people climbing onto buildings." This case was exactly the kind of wake-up call that the country needed to begin banning the drugs.
$20. Who wants $20? 20 fucking bucks. 20 fucking bucks. I don't know.
In
20
July
bucks.
of 2012, the United States government really went into overdrive to try to deal with the growing problem that was bath salts.
Fenrir says it's because they think you're hotter than them and they aren't getting attention from Mercer or Royce Senpai. Okay, so you added a sexual element to it. Well, I am pretty hot. I'm not gonna lie. I do pay attention to my physique. I'm not gonna start flexing here, but if I were to, it would definitely. Okay, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. Yeah, it's so weird. There's so many people. There's like so many people that are like very against me and what I do. I'm like, why? What have I done? I've said racist things. I've said homophobic things. I've said transphobic things. I've said very Nazi things. Okay, no. Yeah, that makes sense.
In only 1 year, the
That makes
drug had
sense.
become an absolute national menace.
Yeah.
The cases outlined in this video are actually only a very
20 bucks.
small fraction of the cases
20
related
bucks.
to these designer drugs that happened throughout that time. The U.S. federal drug policy was soon amended to ban the compounds most commonly found in these drugs. In the UK, things had proceeded a little bit more quickly, with some of these compounds being banned as soon as back in 2010. However, it
This
wasn't
guy,
until a good
I
several...
really think this guy's an absolute homosexual. He's an absolute homosexual. He's young, but he's pretty gay.
12 years later that a majority of the drugs had been dealt with. Despite poison centers receiving thousands of calls a year related to these drugs around 2011 and 2012, by 2015 that number had decreased to about 522. These days, you never really hear about bath salts or any of those similar designer drugs anymore.
No, because why? Because they're safer, more effective. I feel like fentanyl is a big thing these days, right? Fentanyl is a big thing. And so, like, designer drugs aren't such a big thing because they're not designed to kill you. Fentanyl is designed to kill you. But most designer drugs aren't. So you don't hear about them.
To Gen Z
I figured
and
it
Gen
can.
Alpha, it would seem inconceivable that you could buy hard drugs over the counter at your average gas station, easier to purchase than even a single cigarette. However, people will always search for a new loophole in order to get high. For all we know, it could only be a matter of time before we see another similar epidemic. Who knows when and where it might be. Once again, thank you for watching my video. If you found it interesting, please give me a like, it really helps out in the algorithm, and feel free to subscribe if you want to see more content like this. If you don't mind, go ahead and follow me on social media, as if anything were to ever happen to this channel, that would probably be the only way you'd ever hear about it. If you want to support me even further, I do have a Patreon account which I always keep linked down in the description below. There you can see videos early, ad-free, and uncensored. Channel memberships are up too, where you can get these same benefits. I always appreciate any support that you're willing to give. This has been your host Kyle, thank you, and good night.
Alright. Alright. Who is going on here? Who do we have? Alright. Oh, did this show seriously end? And I was just sitting here? My bad. Hold on. Here we go. This is Elliot Roger. This is a different thing. I was going to say this for Monday, but I thought if I ran out of time, I would do this anyway.
After a lifetime of exhibiting serious mental health issues, hatred, and anger, somewhere in the dark, seedy corners of the internet, he emerged as a figure that would come to be more
$20.
controversial than he ever could have expected.
Somebody
As he
pay me,
transcended
do
near
it.
anonymity and became somewhat of an icon
don't care.
among his online peers, he would set in motion
I'm
a
gonna do
chilling
that.
chain of imitative, horrific crimes spanning a decade. This is his life story.
Hey, babe.
Yes,
Here, why don't you
yes,
sit
I'm
down?
a shy, quiet guy, but I have good
I think you
qualities
look
to
good.
myself. I'm a gentleman. You know, I'm sophisticated,
got
I'm
that, I
polite,
haven't
but
taken
girls
much
never
off.
give me a chance because they're evil and cruel like that. And I will take great pleasure
made
in
3
denying
bucks
you
now.
life. It's only fair.
It's okay.
Okay, have fun.
Anyways, okay.
Today we're delving into a really touchy and complex topic, especially when it comes to YouTube, the life and actions of Elliot Rodger. It's crucial to approach this topic by specifically mentioning that Elliot Rodger is not a person who should be admired. As you will come to see throughout the duration of this video, he is a very mentally ill and hateful individual with a troubled past. Rather than take responsibility for even one of his actions, he
Okay.
chose to blame everyone else around him, and that's what led to
This is the same guy. Okay.
the events of today's case. Let me make it very clear that today's video is not to endorse or promote his actions in any way. Rather, I think it's important to look into these cases and find out what exactly went wrong. When it comes to crimes like these, the news media tends to blame one or two contributing factors when the reality is much more complex and nuanced. To write this video, I dug through hundreds and hundreds of pages of manifestos, police reports, diaries, and interviews. Just to make it clear from the beginning, some of the pictures that I came across were pretty low resolution and had some text imposed under them, but I've decided to include them regardless because, well, they're interesting. I've also decided to blur the faces of some of the people in this video. If their pictures were already
I really don't like this guy. He's a fag.
widely available online, if they're somewhat of a public figure, or if they've willingly spoke out about this case, I've gone ahead and left them in. But if they've tried to distance themselves from the case, or if their pictures seem to have been obtained through morally gray means, I've went ahead and blurred them out. With that said, let's get started.
Yes, let's get started. I totally agree. And you know what? I'm sorry. I usually don't do this, but I'm going to go ahead and switch over to premium right now. Just because I want to. So